Yo, welcome back to the GM Podcast. I'm Miller,
I'm Gav.
and today we're talking about some of the craziest trades, or one of the craziest trades in probably NBA history. Obviously,
Facts.
Luka going to the Lakers and AD going to the Mavs, and then obviously Lavine went to the Kings today out of nowhere, and Fox went to the
De'Aaron
Spurs.
Fox,
So
Spurs.
it's
Yeah.
a lot of player movement. So the first question I want to ask is just what was your initial reaction when you saw the trade with AD and Luka?
So my first thing is, first thing, is this real?
Yeah,
But then the only person I have Twitter for this exact reason, the only person I have Twitter notifications turned on for is like Sham's official account.
yeah,
So I know when it's real or fake news. And when I saw it was Shams, I instantly was like, I have to tell somebody. Like I have to break the news to someone. Like,
yeah,
so I called you. And I'm like, yo, this is crazy. And then I'm instant, like, what are the Mavericks thinking?
yeah.
Because the Lakers, well, you can go ahead and how do you feel about the trade, or what was your instant,
See, well,
thoughts or whatever?
obviously you called me, and obviously
Right.
I thought he got hacked. I thought there was no way you were telling the truth.
Yeah.
There was no way this trade was real, obviously, and I honestly I still don't think it's real. I got to see them actually put on the uniform, but but my first takeaway, just like you, is what are the Mavs thinking? You got a guy
Yeah.
that is 25. Usually the prime years are from 27 to 31, so he hasn't hit those prime years yet, and
No.
I feel like the Mavs front office must have really hated this guy. And I watched the press conference today, and Jason Kidd didn't look like he was too pleased with the moves. They played a game today where they allowed 91 first half points. So the team was obviously discombobulated, not ready to play. So
Yeah.
so let me ask you, what do you feel about the trade now? Like, do you still feel the same way?
Yeah, I feel the exact same way. I think the Lakers won the trade, and I feel like it's obvious that the Mavericks called the Lakers about this trade because the Mavericks would have gotten more for Luka
Yeah,
if they would have. And if you're going to trade Luka, my mindset, well, just shop the entire market then.
that was I completely agree. That was like
Make it a public thing. Just all right, we're trading Luka Doncic, and you'll get a phone call from every franchise.
exactly.
So, yes, the Lakers, you could make an argument that they got worse with this trade because of you don't know how the fit of LeBron, and the LeBron AD was a great fit, but you don't know how the fit of Luka and LeBron, both two ball dominant players. But the Lakers are secured for the next 10 years for that era. There's no post LeBron worry because there was in my mindset, I'm like, okay, like once LeBron retires, the Lakers are going to be like, they're going to be bad.
Yeah, for sure.
And now you have, Kenneth, Reeves, Luca. Like that's a good little future you got going for yourselves right there.
Three white boys about to go.
You know, you know what I mean? And so I love it for the Lakers as they get another superstar, and he's going to be the face of their franchise moving forward. Um, and like I said, with the Mavericks, with Kyrie and Anthony Davis being over 30, I don't like you better win it this year, I guess.
Look. That's where I was gonna go. If you are the Mavericks, if you don't win a championship, not get to a finals, not get to a conference finals, if you don't win a championship, this is the worst trade of all time, and it's not close.
Yeah.
Like you can't convince me that this is not gonna be the best because, and this is what I'll say. You know how critical I've been of Luka. He is one of my least favorite superstars because of his effort and because of the way
100%.
he plays the game sometimes. But he just got them to a finals. He just
Yes.
got them to a finals last year. They are 3-1 versus the Thunder this year. I know they're ninth in the Western Conference, but if they get into the playoffs, they were a 5 seed last year. You telling me
Yes.
they can't go on the road again? They played on the road every single series last year, and it wouldn't have been any different. It wouldn't have been their playoff run would not have been any different if they had got into the playoffs. I am lost. Like I am completely lost on why you make this trade when a guy is at the peak of his powers. And once again, they must have had some. And I think the GM must think he's a superhero. I don't know if you think he's Clark
Yeah.
Kent, Bruce Wayne, but there's no reason. There's just no reason that you give up your. First off, you're losing money because those guys, like the fans, are pissed off.
Yeah.
Luca was selling tickets.
And Luka he stated he wanted to be there his entire career like a Dirk. Like he
Exactly.
wanted to be in Dallas. So it, you know, is it really just his diet? Like, you traded him because,
Like that's what I'm saying. Like you don't like how he eats. You don't like how he doesn't play defense. Like, bro, okay, I understand. I'm on the same page. But
and I think,
but that talent is so good. He got you there anyway. He
bro,
got you there.
it's kind of like, when you're a coach, whether it's like you've seen it in high school, middle school, we've seen it growing up as athletes. There's certain kids that have flaws, like whether it's their parents are annoying, uh, whether it's they're like cancer to the team, but there's certain talents that coaches always put up with and organizations always put up with.
Exactly.
And I feel like you could put up with him not maybe coming in shape at the beginning of the season, or like
Oh
it's
my god.
crazy. It's crazy that that's the only thing that we could say about why he got traded.
That's what I'm saying,
Um,
bro. That's exact, bro. That's exact. Like it's so crazy to me that the only thing we're saying about this guy is that, bro, everything we already knew about him cannot be the reason that he just got traded, bro. He took
no,
this team to an NBA Finals. What is
yes,
going on? Like it's still. We are talking about this a day later, and we are just as mind blown as when we first got the news. Like
yes,
I am so shocked. This makes the James Harden trade from OKC look like the Saquon Barkley free agency signing. Like this makes that look like a wonderful because once again, if you don't win a championship, bro, they should. Once again, I know you love your Celtics, but they could have beat that team last year. They definitely
no.
could have beat
I
that
was
team.
just about to say that series was not a 5-game series. Like
No,
the
no, no.
100% wasn't. And once again, you know how I feel. Earlier, I loved the Celtics. I thought that's what we had to do. I thought we had to beat them in 5 or 6 because I knew if it went 7, Luka Doncic, like I'm gonna take the best player in the
Yeah.
series, especially when he's by far the best player in that series, um, in my personal opinion. And he averaged 34 points a game last year. He's coming off of the scoring title, taking you to the finals with, can we be fair? The Mavericks is not an elite built roster.
No,
Yes,
no.
you got him Kyrie, but you got him there with Hornets, PJ Washington, Derrick Jones Jr. We have to talk about how Luka elevates these players, and Luka's only going to do that when he gets to the Lakers. He's going to elevate people like Reeves, Canal, all these shooters around him. He's going to
Dorian
elevate them.
Finney-Smith is
Dorian Finney-Smith, that was picked up 2 weeks ago. So, yeah, his play. I mean, he gets like LeBron and Larry Bird comparisons. This is a generational talent. Um, Maybe comes once every like 5 to 10 years, a caliber player of his ability. So, yeah, I think this goes down as if you don't win a title, then it's one of the dumbest trades, especially if Luka come. I mean, you never know. It's the Lakers.
yeah.
Now that is a free agent destination. If you're a young player, you want to go to LA now because you get to play with Luka, and he's gonna pass the ball. It's almost like when people wanted to go play with LeBron when he was younger. So, for the future for the Lakers, it looks very, very bright. For the next 5 to 6 to 7, however many years, maybe the next decade. I want to know, moving on, how do you feel about the trade with Lavine and Fox? Who wins the trade? Who benefits the most off of the trade? What are your thoughts on that?
So the first thing I took away was the Spurs are 100% in win now mode. And in a way, I can see why. As far as the Thunder being the best team, they are young, so I can see why they think they might have an opening. But I don't know how it really pushes them over the top. I'm going to be interested to see how they look in a playoff series. But these moves didn't mean too much. I mean, Lavine literally just places Fox. I don't see how that moves the needle for each team.
Yeah.
Obviously, there might be some cap space I'm missing out on that I'm not educated on. But to be real, like it didn't mean move anything for me. Did it move something for you?
Yeah, so I love what they're doing in San Antonio around Wemby. Not necessarily for this year. Fox is not an old player.
Yeah.
He's going to be good for you for a while now. And you're not just relying on what Chris Paul you're going to get him for maybe this year, maximum next year. Like you're not really getting Chris Paul for that long. So now you have your point guard for the future.
Yeah.
Or he can play off the ball. You have a combo guard in Stephon Castle that's young and he's learning from CP3 just like Shai Gilgeous-Alexander did. So I like what Stephon Castle is going to eventually develop into, maybe like a 16 to 18 point per game scorer in this league. So I think Stephon Castle is going to be really good. So that you have your guard position set for the future. You have your center. You have your center for the next, as long as he's healthy, the next decade. So I think now when it comes to draft time, I don't know. Obviously Cooper Flag and Ace Bailey are in this next draft, and they have top draft picks. I want to say that they have the Hawks pick, and the Hawks just lost Jalen Johnson. So they need to get the forward position correct. You're not winning a title with Sohan or, Vassell as your three. I think those are good pieces.
I disagree.
You do? You think those players can?
In my opinion, I think those three of Keldon Johnson, Devin Vassell, and Sohan can absolutely be the right caliber of player, along with Fox and, like you said, Stephon Castle taking that leap. The biggest thing is what is Wemby going to do? How dominant is Wemby going to become? Because right now, I love him. He's not there. And that's the biggest takeaway, because I see the skill set that everyone else does. And I've talked to you about this a million times. I just don't see the offensive dominance that I would expect from a guy with that skill set. And I expect it to develop because, once again, I think he has the right attitude. I think he goes about things the right way. And he shoots the three ball at a very high clip this season. Like, it's not like he's shooting bad at a bad clip. But I don't see what I see from Jokic. And when you watch Jokic, he's obviously elevating the people around him. People around him are getting better looks. That's why I'm scared for if Wemby doesn't develop into that guy. Is Wemby a number two guy? Because guess what? A lot of people like Karl Anthony Towns coming out of college too. And I'm not saying Karl Anthony Towns was the prospect that Victor Wembanyama was. But
I think Victor will be better than Towns.
But when you look at it now, I mean, back then people were saying Karl Anthony Towns was going to be that number 100%. One guy. So 100%. we have to see him develop into that really dominant force before we start, putting them on that level. And like you said, I think you made a great point about De'Aaron Fox kind of building for the future, because if that's a 1-2 punch, that's a great 1-2 punch. If De'Aaron Fox is your second guy, because De'Aaron Fox has been the number one scoring option. He's been the number one scoring option in Sacramento. Now he can go to a place where he's the number two, and like you said, Stephon Castle is only going to get better. Devin Vassell can put the ball in the basket at a very high clip. You got two great defenders in Keldon Johnson and Sohan, like you said. So, once again, if Wemby can find a way to become, I would say, let's say top 7 player. Let's say a top 7 player in the next 2 years, this team is absolutely a contender.
And I think he will. Looking at his progression, last year he was averaging around 21 points a game, 20 points a game. This year he's averaging around 25, which is still one of the top scorers in the league. I think he gets that, he takes a year 3 leap, which usually year 3 is where players take that leap. And you see kind of what they're going to be. Not that Wemby's not going to get better, because he still will get better as he gets older. But he's averaging 25 right now, 11 rebounds, 4 blocks. So, I mean, if he just takes the 25 a game to 28 a game?
Yeah.
28, 29 a game, you have that. You have 4 blocks. And you have a situation where with De'Aaron Fox, the way he has played, and people don't talk about it enough because he's been in Sacramento, and I think with Wembanyama, they're going to start talking about it more because he's going to get more media coverage. But he's been one of the best fourth quarter players and clutch time players when he's in the playoff. So you have a situation to where, look at Denver, not saying Jokic can't, because Jokic has proven to done it on multiple occasions, but Wembanyama might be your guy that gives you all the stats. He's going to give you 4 blocks. He's going to give you 12 boards. He's going to give you 30 on any given night.
Yeah.
But come fourth quarter, it's pick and roll, and Fox is closing and hitting the clutch shots when it comes game time, like Jamal Murray is for the Nuggets.
That's a great point.
And yes, and I love this. Like I said, I love this trade for the Spurs. For the Kings, you fire your coach, you trade your clutchest player on your team. Lavine and DeMar DeRozan, we've already seen that in Chicago. I don't really know what they're going for here. I thought Lavine was going to end up with a Golden State, a Nuggets type team who are taking one more leap. Now I hear the Warriors are not in the stakes for Jimmy Butler anymore because he's not going to re-sign his contract. So it'll be interesting to see what trades happen over the next few days. Last thing I want to ask you is, do you think Jimmy Butler will get traded?
I don't care.
Bef-
I don't care at this point. Like,
yeah,
at a certain point, you just got to play games.
yeah.
And he's literally pushing 40 at this point, right? Like, how old is Jimmy
He
Butler?
might be like 30. He might be
We
36.
can look this up real quick.
I think he's 36.
Jimmy Butler is 35 years old. Like, let's be real here. He's not pushing the needle for anybody. I mean, he literally hasn't played. But I don't expect him to come back for anybody and be a great basketball player. And you know how much I love Jimmy Butler. Jimmy Butler's a dog. He literally carried his team to two finals appearances. Like, this guy is a dog. But at a certain
100%.
point, where is a better spot than the Heat? For him, like, where's a better spot for the Heat? Like, there is no better spot. And like you said, going back to Sacramento and picking up Lavine, this is where I make the point. I feel like front offices and the impact of winning in basketball are so underrated. I feel like you got to have that number. The most important thing in basketball is having that top 7 player. To where
100%, and that's why people are not gonna pick Cavs to win the finals.
Exactly, and that's fine because I mean that's just what it is. And roster construction, you've seen the teams that are coming up. The Thunder, now with 1 seed. The Spurs are going to be a great team in the next couple of years. The Kings are in no man's land. Like, they're just floating around. And a couple years ago, you're thinking this team is going to take off, getting a 3 seed. But sometimes teams just have very hot regular seasons. And what you do have to realize is that sometimes they don't have that guy. So like you said, when we talk about a team like the Cavs, they just don't have that guy. And we love Donovan Mitchell just like we loved De'Aaron Fox back then. But they're not number 1 guys. They can't elevate. If you're not, hey, listen, Jason Tatum is about, like, I'm going to be honest, he is about the worst you can go to win a championship.
From best player?
Yeah, from a best player perspective, like, that might be, I don't see any worse players than Jason Tatum, or maybe an AD, maybe might be in that tier too. And that's what, going back to the LeBron trade, I kind of do see a world where they can still win a chip. And for the team right now, I'm not mad at it. But, or no, actually,
No.
whoa, wait, let me scratch that. Hold on. I am extremely mad at it because, once again, me personally, I would have ran that back with Luka 100 times out of 100. But, I mean, now AD gets to play the 4, which he has been asking for religiously. And if he can put together just 1 season of Pelicans AD or bubble AD where he can be an essential number 1 option, and we know how great he is on the defensive end, they match up with Denver great. I mean, I think if they played Denver in a series, they would beat Denver.
You think?
I do. I mean, you got Gafford and Lively and AD. That's the same.
You match up at the big position for sure, but
I like Kyrie against Jamal Murray. I like Klay Thompson guarding against any one of their 2s. I like PJ Washington. Like, I don't think PJ Washington will play the 3. I think they'll have.
I guess my question is, does Michael Porter Jr. outplay Klay Thompson at this point in Klay's career, or like is it a lot of?
But what is Michael Porter? The Nuggets are not a great team. If you really watch them, like Michael Porter,
they're Jokic based.
They're extremely Jokic based, and
we know Jamal Murray. The one thing we do know is he's averaging 20. It'll be like 25 come playoff time.
I think the
2 things we know.
The one thing we could focus on is, like, we were just talking about how you need a number. Like, when we're talking about winning in this league, you need a top 7 player, and you can tell that based season to season. You can't, but if you look at just a 1 season basis, one thing that can tell you all you need to know about a team is how their role players are playing throughout the season. If their role players are not getting hot throughout the season at any point, they're not going to be good in the playoffs. You can't just flip a switch. And they haven't been doing good for 2 years now. This is a consistent basis of this team not being great. Jamal Murray has started hitting some more shots, but they're not.
I do like recently what I've been seeing from Braun, but I mean, I like that him as a piece. I thought Payne Watson was going to step up more this year, but just hasn't.
No, he hasn't.
So I think come playoff time, it's going to be hard. Like I said, it's going to be hard to come to Denver and win games simply because of, like, you're going to Denver. It's harder to breathe, whatever,
Yeah.
but because of the elevation. But I think Denver might have to, play 7
Yeah.
come playoff time? Cut the line up to, cut the line up to 7?
Maybe
I
6.
don't know. Yeah, it's going to be interesting what they do. And I like Aaron. But I also like the way you could flip it to where the Nuggets match up with Dallas. But on a different token, I am interested to see what the Lakers do because I'm not counting them out this year from winning a title now.
Yeah.
And my initial reaction was, no, they're not winning a title. The fit is not correct. But they have Reeves. They have Kennett. They have LeBron. They have Luka. You have Finney-Smith that you just picked up, who has played with Luka. And one thing that people are not talking about is they have a first-round pick that they haven't traded yet. They still have that they didn't include in that trade, which is interesting why Dallas didn't just make them give them that pick.
So who would you go? What would you need right now? Do you think you need another big?
Yeah.
Because my
No,
question,
you get a big.
My question is, what big? Like, what big do you go get? I mean, honestly, I'm surprised Derek Lively was not involved in this deal.
Yeah.
I'm surprised Derek Lively or Gafford was not involved with this deal for maybe a couple more firsts from LA. That's what I was. Also, I did want to ask you one question as well.
Yeah.
Do you buy that LeBron had no knowledge of of this trade?
Like, that's what I was thinking. Like LeBron.
And that's my thing.
Now, and that's a question I asked myself. Another thing I asked myself: does this happen under Mark Cuban? Does Luka leave under Mark Cuban?
No chance.
No.
No chance.
There's no way. The GM would be fired right now.
And this is my thing as well. When we talk about NBA might have the least loyalty to its players in the world. Like, I can't see a world where the Chiefs GM makes a trade of this magnitude without Patrick Mahomes knowing. Imagine Travis Kelce getting traded 2 years ago, and they didn't tell Patrick Mahomes. He had no knowledge of it. Now, I don't think LeBron did know about it. I'm gonna be real. Like, I'm not gonna put that on his plate. I don't think he did.
I don't either.
One thing I will say, bro, this trade is so insane that I think the league has some investigating to do. Like, I think we need to look into see if this GM got paid off for making this trade, because at a point where the NBA is at its lowest in viewership in a very long time, I find it a little funny that the most craziest trade happens right before the trade deadline, and once again, a year that the league is not getting high viewership. I don't want to put that into the air because I'm probably wrong, but I think I think there needs to be some discovery into this, because there's no way. And like you said earlier, and this was a point that I was thinking about as well, the fact that he had the audacity to say that he only shopped with the Lakers. Why? Why could you not have picked up the phone and said, "Hey, can we go get KD and a couple more first-round picks?" I mean, if you're going for an old superstar, he's right there. How many prime years does AD have based on his injury history? 2?
Oh, 2. It's this year, next year, and then it's like he's not the same AD anymore. He has to be a number 3 on a championship, probably.
Yeah. So I think that this is right now, and I know we could be proven wrong. I know that. But right now, it's an atrocious trade. It is an atrocious trade. You could sweep the first round, sweep the second round, sweep the third round, get to the finals. If you get beat by Boston, this was the worst trade of all time.
Yes, because I don't know what you do in the future. Kyrie is not getting better.
And his statement
Anthony
said
Davis is not getting better.
Statement said that they were preparing for the future as well. With a 2029 first round pick from the Lakers, guess what?
Yeah.
In 2029, the Lakers are going to have Luka-AD, and they're not going to be a low drafted. They're not going to be a lottery team.
No.
So
they're never going to be a lottery team anymore.
So you're not building for the future. You're guessing. That's what you're doing.
Yes, you're literally guessing. And like I said, I'm really, like I said, when I first saw it, I'm like, there's no way. But yeah, I think I'm interested to see what happens the next few days at the trade deadline. I think so far, obviously, I don't think any team can beat the Lakers now for the trade deadline because of who they acquired.
Yes.
I mean, I'm interested to see, and I think it is not a failure, but it is a this year failure if you decide to not do anything with that first round pick because you can you're LA. You can build through free agency. You don't have to do the draft at all.
Yeah.
You do not have to participate in the draft not one bit for the most part. In the future, next 5 years, now that you have Luka Doncic, you should be getting win now players in free agency. And it's a free agent destination. Wonderful job by Rob Pelinka. He's probably very excited to receive, not to call, but to receive a phone call.
Can you imagine
Hey,
how
you-
that
hey, you
phone
want-
call went? Hey, you want Luka? Duh. What are you talking about? Bro, that was probably
Oh, my
the
goodness.
shortest trade transaction of all time. Also, one thing real quick. If you put not even franchise history, if you put this century's all-time Lakers from 2000 and now, and you said, okay, LeBron run the one, put Luka at the 3, put Kobe at the 2, put Shaq at the 5, and put AD at the 4, could they beat?
Bro.
Could they beat any team's all-time franchise?
Yes,
franchise team,
yes,
like, ever?
yes,
Like,
yes.
that's
Because look, Celtics have old heads that wouldn't be able to whatever. What's another
maybe the
the
Warriors.
Rockets? No,
The Warriors.
The Warriors have a chance because 3 is more than 2. But other than Luka, there's a lot of elite two-way players that you just named for the Lakers. I mean, LeBron could have won Defensive Player of the Year. He was second in it.
Oh my God! Can you imagine AD with Shaq?
Yeah, and AD can play out on the spacing wouldn't be bad.
No, not at all. Not at all.
I'm thinking about the Shaq Luka pick and roll.
Yeah, you're not stopping that one. Obviously, you probably need a shooter out there because at the 5 we just named, there's probably no catch and shoot.
But Kobe
guys.
could do what he did on USA team and be a shooter.
Yeah, that's very true. Yeah, this is insane. This is an insane.
Nah, this is insane, and it's not done. The trade deadline's ends February 6th, so we got about 3 more days of this.
And by the way, OKC is clear favorites. Clear favorites at this point. I don't think there should be any discussion.
To win it all, yet the only thing,
Not to win it all. I'm just talking about win the West.
No, I think to win it all now. I'm not as high on my Celtics as I have been. I still would take us against y'all. We're gonna beat y'all. But
wait. But you just said they should be so you're just saying they should be the favorites. You would still take the Celtics though.
I think we should beat y'all. But I'm saying odds and stuff like that.
Okay, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
The only thing I think that could dethrone or beat the OKC Thunder is a more experienced, seasoned team that has been there before. So essentially, I was gonna say the Mavericks, but not now. The two that pop up in my mind is the Lakers and the Nuggets are the two teams that if the OKC Thunder played, I think that the best player on both sides could manipulate the game in a sense, kind of how LeBron did in his prime. Luka can do now. He just proved it. That'll be very interesting.
I agree with the Lakers one. I'm not so sure on the Nuggets because I do like the Hartenstein Jokic matchup with Chet coming back as well. Yeah. Go ahead.
I think Gordon could have a big series against y'all.
Yeah.
As well. Obviously, I feel like yes, there's teams that can match up with Jokic, like you just said, the Mavericks, but I think it's how you stop the other guys, how you stop Murray. I don't think there is a formula to stopping Jokic. I mean, the Lakers had the best formula of it, and he just kills them with Rui on him, with LeBron on him, with AD on him, with whoever it was. Yeah. So, like I said, I think I still have a Celtics beating OKC in 6 finals is my prediction, like I had coming into this year. But I think the Celtics are blessed to be in the East with their struggles recently and the injury question of Porzingis. I think this is a year where we need Porzingis. Last year we were able to win without Porzingis. I think we need Porzingis this year.
100%. closing statements for me.
Yeah.
Once again, I think there's a horrible trade for the Mavericks considering they made a finals last year. Once again, they're 3-1 versus the odds-on favorites to win the West this year. I still think they match up very well. They added Najee Marshall, who's been playing great basketball. Obviously, Klay Thompson is there. They got
Yep.
better. I think this was an atrocious move. But once again, me and you said it. If they win, hey, it's a good move. One championship, that's all it takes. Because you could talk about the AD LeBron era and be like, well, they weren't really. They won a ring. So that's all that
Yes.
matters. That's all that matters. When they won that ring, all the other stuff goes out the window because that means the trade
Yes.
worked. If they bring you a championship, it works out. So if AD can bring Dallas a championship, it's a good trade, and AD needs to be talked about as a top 3 power forward of all time. No matter the accolades, the stats. I've seen AD play basketball for years on years, and AD is a hell of a basketball player. And when you're talking about maybe the Karl Malones of the world, don't get me started on Karl Malone, the Charles Barkleys, the Kevin Garnett's, the Tim Duncans, obviously, you have to put him in there.
I mean, yeah, that third spot would be between him and Giannis, him and KG.
Giannis would be up there, obviously, KG, and probably Dirk, obviously.
Yeah.
But, I mean, if AD wins with the Mavs, you're talking about Dirk and AD having equal, probably the best finals runs of all time. So, yeah, I don't know. That's all I got, though.
100%. Yeah. I've said all I had to say, so
Yep.
we can wrap it up.
All right. Well, thank you guys for tuning in. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace out.